Hello, awesome artists! I'm so excited because this week is one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving! So I thought it would be fun, since last week we learned how to draw a turkey. Today I thought it would be fun for us to draw a picture of our favorite things to eat for Thanksgiving. But to make it extra fun, I thought we would do it in a Kawaii style. So here I've drawn some of my favorite things to eat on Thanksgiving Day. I've drawn some turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans and corn and even a little bit of cranberry sauce. So go grab some paper, something to draw with, and your coloring tools, and I'll meet you back here in just a bit.
Okay, so I have my paper that I'm going to be drawing on. I also have a pencil and a Sharpie because we're going to use a pencil for something that we're going to use as a guideline to erase. So I wanted that there so I can show you exactly how we're going to use it. And my trusty marker. So I'm going to be doing a picture of, I thought it would be fun since it's Thanksgiving to do a Kawaii style picture of the food that we like to eat on Thanksgiving. So you can draw anything that you want. You could draw your favorite things to eat for Thanksgiving. I'm going to draw a few different things, okay? So I'm going to be drawing with my paper in landscape mode, which means that it's nice and wide instead of being tall, okay? So I'm going to be drawing some mashed potatoes, a turkey leg, an ear of corn, some cranberry sauce, and some green beans. So I hope we can fit it all on our plate. Okay, so I'm going to start in the middle with my mashed potatoes. Okay, so mashed potatoes are usually like in a lump. So I'm going to start by drawing the top of my mashed potatoes. Now, I don't want it to be perfectly round because mashed potatoes are lumpy and bumpy because they're a big pile of food, right? So I'm doing a curved line, but I'm not doing it perfectly curved like a rainbow. I'm giving it some texture to it, so it's kind of bumpy. Okay. Now I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to make almost like a mountain shape because I love to have a mountain of potatoes. So I'm coming down kind of diagonally. All right, and then we're going to curve that around and close in our mound of potatoes. Now I love gravy on my potatoes, so I'm going to do just a little covering of gravy by doing a wiggly line going across. So now the top of my potatoes I'm going to color brown, and then the bottom I'll leave a creamy color so that it looks like it's the white mashed potatoes. Now, to make it look like it's a Kawaii style, we need to give it some cute eyes. So I'm going to draw two pretty big eyes for a mound of mashed potatoes. And I'm going to, just like I like to do this light reflection. So I'm going to draw a circle at the top right side of my eyes, and then I'm going to draw a smaller circle on the bottom left side of my eye. Okay, and then just like every other time, we're going to use our black marker to color in the middle of our eyes, but we're going to leave those two smaller circles inside white so it looks like light reflecting. All right, now I have my eyes done, so I'm just going to give him a cute little smile. So for this guy, I'm going to do an upside down rainbow line, and then I'm going to kind of give him some cheeks. So coming out from my rainbow line, I'm going to do two kind of horizontal lines. I'm going to change up my mouth on each one of my different items that I'm drawing, so that way they don't look all the same, because that gets boring. All right, so there we have our mashed potatoes. Next up, let's do our ear of corn. So I'm going to put my corn here next to my potatoes. Now I don't want everything to be flat on my plate like it really would be for Thanksgiving, because that would make all my detail down at the bottom, and then I have all this open space at the top, and that's kind of boring for a drawing. So I'm going to make my I'm going to make my ear of corn kind of tall. So I'm going to start at the top, and I want some butter like dripping down on my corn. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line going across for the top of my butter. Okay, then I'm going to make kind of like a rectangle for my butter, but I want it to be rounded because the butter's melting, so it's going to get softer and lose those edges. So I'm going to do a line going curved down on each side like that, and then I'm going to curve it over. But now, instead of doing a rectangle all the way across, I want it to look like the butter's melting. So as I connect this back, I'm going to just do kind of some wavy lines going down and then back up. So then, oh, look at that. It looks like butter melting and starting to drip. All right, so I have my pat of butter. Now that's going to go up on top of my ear of corn. So I'm going to draw my ear of corn. I'm going to do a line, kind of like a J line coming out. So I'm going to go down like a waterfall. So I'm going to go out and down. Out and down. Now corn, just like the mashed potatoes, is not going to be smooth. It's going to be lumpy and bumpy. So as I'm going down, I want to do it kind of wiggly. Oh yeah, that looks like some good corn. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Notice I stopped when I got to my potatoes. That way it looks like my corn is behind my potatoes. And the same thing on this side, some wavy, lumpy corn. Then I'm just going to curve around to meet the other side. So there I have my corn. Now we need to give him some eyes. So I'm going to make his eyes up tall. So I'm going to do, just like with my potatoes, I'm going to do 2 big circles. And again, just like before, I'm going to do my 2 small circles, and I'm going to color them in so that it matches the eyes of my mashed potatoes. Alright, so my eyes are done. Now I'm going to do my corn's mouth. And like I said before, I am going to do my mouths differently on each one. So this one, I'm going to make his mouth look like it's open. So I'm going to start by drawing a diagonal line, but it's not going to be like way diagonal. I'm just going to make it, it's horizontal but goes up just a little. See? A slight diagonal. And then I'm going to start at this left corner, and I'm going to make an upside down rainbow line. So there it looks like his mouth is open. And then I'm going to give him a little tongue, and then I'm going to color in black. Oh, he looks so cute. Now, I was practicing my picture, and when I first did my ear corn, you know how corn has individual kernels? So I thought I would use my Sharpie and draw the kernels. But when I did, like, it made it look all messy, so I didn't like that. So what I'm going to do instead, when I color in my corn, I'm going to color in the kernels. So I'm going to make different colors of yellow, and I'm going to do rectangles of it. So hopefully that'll look really cool. We'll see though. Okay, next up, let's do some, actually let's do our turkey leg. Okay, so my turkey leg's going to go here, and he's going to kind of come diagonally. Okay, so I'm going to do the top of my turkey leg. So I'm going to do a rainbow line for the top of my turkey. Okay, then I'm going to bring the left side down, kind of like I'm making a teardrop. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right. Then I'm going to go down just a little bit further. And then you know how turkey meat on the bone, it's not straight across, so I'm going to do kind of a wavy line. Awesome, so that's the meat part. Now we need to do the bone. So for my bone, I'm going to do 2 lines coming down, and then we need the bottom of our bone, which is going to be kind of curved out. So I'm going to do a letter C line on one side and a backwards C on the other, and then I'm just going to connect those with kind of an S line. So I'm going to curve up and then back down. And there's my turkey leg. Now let's give him some eyes. So again, my 2 big circles for his eyes. And you can put his eyes anywhere. If you wanted his eyes to be down low so it looks like he has a tall head, you could do that, but I'm going to do mine up high. Okay, and just like before, I'm going to draw my 2 circles inside the line at the eyes and then color them black. Alright, now I'm going to give him a mouth. I'm just going to give him a very simple upside down rainbow line mouth. Just like that. Alright, so we have our turkey, our mashed potatoes, and our corn. Now, as I'm looking at the composition, that's how everything's together, I have some open spots here and here, and I kind of want to fill those in. So what I'm thinking is doing a group of green beans here, and then maybe a little pad of that yummy kind of jelly-like cranberry sauce. Okay, so let's start with the cranberry sauce. So it comes in like a disc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an oval. I'm going to have him kind of tucked behind my turkey leg. So I'm going to start at the side of my turkey leg, and I'm going to draw a skinny oval coming out, kind of like he's hiding behind the turkey. And then to make him look like he's three-dimensional, I'm going to do a vertical line coming down, and then I'm going to connect that back to the turkey leg. Oh, so see, it looks like a little slice of cranberry sauce. And I'm going to give him some eyes, just like the others. Since his size is smaller than everybody else, I just gave him one dot of color. And then I think I'm going to give him a very happy, like, open mouth. Oh, he looks cute. Alright, now that all that's left for my vegetables, or my food, is my green beans. So I'm going to have my green beans coming here next to my turkey, and I'm going to make them standing up tall. So they're going to look like they're standing behind the mashed potato. So I'm going to draw kind of a C line coming out. So it looks like a letter C, but not like C. It's more like an open, curved C. Okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing coming down. Okay? And I think I'll do like 4 or 5 green beans like that. And I'm going to build them off of each other. Okay? And I'm going to make them different heights, because I just think that would be more interesting that way. Maybe a little guy coming off here. And I think one more. Alright, there's my green beans, and I can give them little stems by making, they don't all need stems. Alright, so I have my green beans. Now, let's give them faces. Now, these two are really small, so I think I'm just going to give faces to these 3 big ones in the middle. I'm going to switch my Sharpie, because if you look, this one's getting kind of thick, and I want to make my eyes smaller, so I'm going to get a fine pen instead. Alright, so I have this gel pen, so I can get a smaller eye. So I'm going to draw my eyes exactly the same. So I'm going to do the circle, but see how I can get a smaller circle there? Just like that, and just like the other ones, I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller circle inside. I think I'm just going to give them 1 circle of white, like the cranberry sauce, instead of 2, since they are so small. So I'm going to give them all some eyes on those 3. See how I change up the position of the eyes, so they're not just like straight across? By giving different heights and different placement, it just makes it more interesting. Alright, now I'm going to color in the large part black, and then I'm going to leave the small circle white, just like on all my others. So I forgot to record me coloring in the eyes on my green beans, but you can see what I did. I colored in the larger part of the eyes and left the smaller part white. Alright, now let's give them some mouths. I think I'm going to make this guy have a similar mouth to the mashed potato. Maybe this guy, let's give him a nice big open surprised mouth. And this guy, I like him to have a mouth kind of like the corn. There we go. Oh my goodness, that looks really cute. Okay, I'm going to change back to my Sharpie. And now I'm going to make my plate for my food to sit on. Okay, so I want my plate to go around my food. Okay, so I'm going to start here on the side of my turkey leg, and I'm going to do kind of an oblong shape. That's like an oval mixed with a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to curve down, and I'm going to go all the way around to the other side of my corn. And I'm going to try to match the shape, if it's okay, if it's not exactly the same. but I want it to come hit the corn about the same height as I hit my turkey leg. Okay, now I need to connect back here. So again, I'm going to go over, so it would go from here, and I'm going to stop when I get to my green beans, and then I'm going to connect each one. Okay, and then it comes here. So there we go. My plate's a little wonky, but that's okay. Now, so it doesn't just look like a rectangle around it, it looks like an actual plate. You know how plates will have an extra curve to it? So I'm going to just do another smaller line, kind of matching the shape of my plate. I'm going to stop when I get to my mashed potatoes and my corn here. And I'm going to finish it on this side. Oh, all the way to my corn. All the way to my green beans. And then finish it on that side. So there we go. We look like we have a platter or a plate of food. Now I have this open space up here at the top, so I thought it would be fun to make this into something that you could put on your refrigerator or on the wall by your table for Thanksgiving. So I thought it'd be fun to write Happy Thanksgiving. So that's actually why I have my pencil here, because I want to show you one way that you can do bubble letters. Okay, so I'm going to grab another piece of paper real quick because I'm going to show you a couple of different ways we can do this. Okay, so I'm going to start by writing happy. Now you can do all uppercase, you can do just the first words capitalized. I'm going to do all uppercase because it's a little bit easier than if I do upper and lowercase. Alright, so I've written the word happy. Now what I'm going to do is you can either do block letters or you can do bubble letters. So for block letters, what you do is you're basically drawing a fence, a perimeter around your letters. So watch what I mean by that. So I'm going to draw next to my pencil line. So H has a vertical line here, so I'm going to draw a vertical line. And then it's almost like I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to go on a walk around each letter. So watch, I'm going to go around the line that I drew. Okay, imagine if you're driving a car and these are streets you have to go around. And just like that, you have a nice block H. And then to make it look like you're really good at drawing block letters, all you got to do is erase that original line that you drew. And then, just like that, ta-da, you can draw block letters. Okay. Now if you want to do bubble letters, I'm going to start with the H again. You can do the same thing, but this time instead of doing right angles every time you turn a corner, you're going to do a curve. Okay. So here I'm going to go down and I'm going to make a backwards J. Okay. So see, every time I get to it, I'm doing a curved line to turn. So think about this like a snail going around, and he's very lazy and curves the corners. So then instead of having sharp letters like a rectangle or a block, you have rounded letters like a bubble. Okay? So you can choose if you want to do block or bubble letters, and you keep doing that. So for like happy, if I do my block letters, just like I said before, I'm going to trace like I'm going around a corner in a car. So I'm going to follow around the shape of my A. And so if my letters are close together, I just connect them. Okay? And then don't forget, when you have letters that have a hole in them, like an A, you have to go around the inside as well. Same thing with your P. So I'm going to go down, stop when I get to my A because they're touching. Around the P. Now P has a curve in it, so I can't, I mean, you could do it blocky if you wanted, but I don't like it that way. Okay? And then I got to do the whole for my P. And do the same thing again. Go around my letter, and then do my, it kind of looks like a capital D in the middle. And then finally, my Y. And just like that, when you finish all of them, then you can take and erase all of your lines. Okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write Happy Thanksgiving across the top. So, H. And I like doing, if I'm doing it this way, I like to make my first letter larger, and then even though I'm doing capital, I like to make the next ones smaller. Just so it kind of makes it look more interesting. It kind of gives the feel of that uppercase and lowercase without actually having to do it. And then Thanksgiving starts with a T. Oops, forgot I'm doing capitals. You could change it though if you wanted to do them 2 different ways. That can be kind of interesting too. H, A. You know what? I'm going to run out of room, so I need to make that H skinnier. There we go. You know what? I should be writing this lighter so that I could erase it more easily, but if I do, then you can't see what I'm doing. So for you, I would draw your letters like you're sketching them. That way it's easier to erase. Alright, look at that, just fit. I knew I needed to make that H smaller. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace around my words to make my, I think I'm going to do block letters because most of my shapes have curved edges, so that way it'll kind of break it up. Alright, so I'm going to go around and make my block letters with my Sharpie. Alright, so I have finished drawing my block letters, and I've erased my original pencil lines, and now all I have left to do is color my food. So I tried to think of foods that would give me more colors than just brown and white, because a lot of foods are like that. Like turkey is brown and white, mashed potatoes are brown and white. I thought about putting some dressing on there, but that's kind of brownish. So I tried to think of things that would have different colors. So that's why I put the green beans and the corn, and I did the cranberry sauce because it's kind of a purpley color. So I just thought that would be, it'd make it look more interesting than just having a bunch of brown foods. So I'm going to be using my markers to color here, and I will catch back with you in just a minute.